Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our weekly webinar training. And give me a few moments so we can let other folks check in and I can do my preliminary tech check, make sure everyone is hearing me clearly. If by chance you're not hearing me nor seeing me, please make sure you comment here in the comment section or send me a message of some sort. Let me know that you are not seeing me. But if no comments, then I know you're seeing me clear. Already, one quick check here. Voila, I'm on my phone here. I'm seeing myself. Good. No comments, then I know you. Awesome. All right. So, how have you been? How was your week? How has your week been going so far? Hope it's going well. If not, the weekend is right around the corner. So tomorrow is Friday, and then we go into a nice weekend. I hope that your week has been blessed. Trust me, we always have something to be grateful for. So if it has not been going well, still thank God for the fact that we're alive and we have health and strength and we're able to make it to another day. And we have the weekend, like we said, to look forward to for lots and lots of fun. Okay, let me do one more quick check in here. We have a wonderful topic for you. As always, please, if you have any notes, make sure you take out your notepad or whatever you have in your phone, your whatever device that you normally take notes on. Always feel free to do that. If you have any relevant question pertaining to the topic, you can do one of two things. You can email me at chance@strategicsecrets.com or right here on your on your chat section. It's on the right hand side if you're on a computer or if you're on your mobile device right below. You'll be able to leave some questions there if you have any particular questions. So we want to go through this training. It's very powerful. It's going to be actually a two-part training. So next week we're going to do part 2 on this particular topic. So today we want to talk about some essential skills for managers and leaders. But first, let's do our official introduction after I do one more quick check on my phone here. Da, da, da. Get your cup of juice or some water, whatever you need in the meantime as we're getting ourselves together right here. Okay, admin. Studio. Alrighty, so we're good. We are good. Alrighty, so welcome everyone to the weekly webinar. My name is Chance, U.S. Navy veteran, #1 best-selling author, minister, and speaker. I am here on behalf of Strategic Secrets University and Monetize Your Skills Academy, where every single week we come on live teaching professionals, entrepreneurs, and ministry leaders how to be able to take their gifts and talents and monetize them into digital products, programs, and services. We believe that when you do that, you'll be able to accomplish 3 things. Number 1, fund your dream, sustain your mission, message, or cause, and make a lasting impact. If those resonate with you, you are actually in the right place. We want you to live out your God-given gifts and talents and be able to touch as many lives as possible in your own community, in your own city, in your own state, but also around the world, because through the power of technology, we are able to touch many people, and that's what we want you to do. Take what you know, your gifts, your education, your expertise, your experiences in anything, any matter, and be able to just share them with people, because trust me, there is someone out there who needs to know what you know, and you can help them. If you've gone through tragedy, why not share your journey and how you overcame and what lessons you've learned and pass them on to other people as well. And so we want to talk about tonight the essential strategies for managers and leaders. Listen, if you are going to make it in today's world of ever expanding and increasing diversity, globalization, and expansion, then you need to learn how to be an effective leader and also an effective manager. Sometimes those two terms are used interchangeably, but we are going to be able to make a distinction with them on tonight. I have a handout that I'm going to share with you, and also this is related to one of the weekly blog posts that we just made. It's on our website at strategicsecrets.com. So let's pull up a little slideshow, not a slideshow, but I'm going to pull up a PDF, And also, as we go along, I'm also going to give you a download that you can actually look at the moment. So let's first get with the essentials of management and what we are talking about here. So let's see if I can show this on the screen. I know last week we had some challenges. Not sure what's happening here. Mm, Okay, it's doesn't seem to be loading. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give it to you as a download. Let's try that instead. Let's try that instead. Cancel. I don't know. Let me see if I'm seeing that on my stuff here. Hold on, because maybe I'm not seeing it on my screen, but you probably are seeing it on here because it shows that it's actually live. Give me a second. These are some of the hiccups that we got to deal with from time to time, but that's why I'm glad that I can also watch while I'm doing this. Okay. It says it's on there. Right. Okay. We are live. For those of you who are here, please know that we are live. If you are seeing a black screen, that's fine. We're trying to load up the PDF here so you can see it for our training. And so let's see what's happening here. You're seeing a black screen. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on your mobile. You can be able to download it from on your mobile device. So let me do a quick upload, right quick, 1 second. Just going to take a quick second to upload this from my computer, and then I'll share it with you so you can actually download it. But please stay tuned. I have another download for you. I have an infographic that I'd like you to have. Okay, this was supposed to be the PDF for the training, but nonetheless, let me label it essential manage. All right. Okay, how about that? Let's see. Share file. Okay, I just shared it with you. Let me check on my mobile device. Okay, voila, I do have it here. Okay, so please click on that so you can follow along with me. It says Essential Management Skills. It's a PDF that you should have with you right now that you can download. If you're on a mobile device, it's right below your screen. If you're on a computer, it's on the right-hand side of the screen right there. So go ahead and grab that, and let's continue on tonight. And let me see if I can bring myself back on the main screen here. Okay, slide presentation. Yes. Oui. All right, good folks. Okay, looks like it's having some issues bringing me back on screen here, so we are just going to go with you. You can see me down on the small screen right there anyhow. Alrighty, so let's talk about management. Let's go. So essential skills for management. What is leadership, right? So we want to, of course, we're going to make the distinction between leadership and management, but what is leadership by itself? There's several definitions, okay? Leadership is helping, influencing, or guiding people or a group of people to achieve a goal or goals plural. Servant leaders serve the body and not the other way around. In other words, a leader, sometimes we may see pictures of, the boss driving everyone, but really and truly, the leader is the one that serves the people. They do not manipulate, they do not force others to achieve what the leader wants. It's all about others and their outcomes, which in turn will actually facilitate realization of a vision of the company, business, ministry, or whatever it may be. For those in the faith-based community, there's a wonderful book, Reconnect. I like the definition that is given here. It says it's a God-inspired servant leaders are spiritually connected to the Lord, casting vision, inspiring and empowering others. They are focused on both the people and the mission that is set before them by God. And that's very crucial because, we are all about the people, but we have to be able to also help and work with the people to achieve the goal. Because if we don't achieve the objectives, then we are also missing out on our purpose. That's where we're going to get into vision and mission in just a moment. Now, when we talk about management, we want to make the distinction. All leaders are not necessarily managers and vice versa, right? Management is a part of leading, but many managers in and of themselves are not necessarily good leaders, okay? And some leaders are not good management or managers also. So there's an overlap between the two, okay? Both leadership and management aspect are not, they're necessary. They contribute to the vision, the mission, and the overall success of the enterprise or whatever it is that we are trying to achieve. But to be effective as good stewards, we require both, right? So one is not necessarily better and above the other. I think we need to have both in many ways. But a good leader must have good management skills, and good managers usually have to have some sort of leadership abilities also and qualities. So it's difficult to imagine a good manager who is not also a leader and vice versa. But the distinction between their styles can be attributed to what they focus on. Okay? Leaders typically focus on doing the right things, which is about being effective, and managers focus on doing things the right way, which is efficiency. So effectiveness and efficiency, they work together, but they are also dissimilar in some shapes and form. So again, leaders focus on doing the right things so that we can achieve the right outcomes, but managers focuses on doing the things in the right way, doing them right. We're looking at protocols and efficiency and processes and procedures and the like. So a good manager will have a handle on those. So many leaders don't like the details of the way things are done. So that's why management is important. So if you go on the page 2 right here, you will see a breakdown of some of the differences. Okay, so good leaders typically focus on vision, sharing the what and the why. What needs to be done? Why do we need to do it? They're normally long range or long term focus, people focus, democracy. They are enablers. They develop people. They challenge the people. Okay, they originate and come up with new ideas and so forth. They're innovative. They're directing. Okay, also they focus on policy because the policy is important to be able to know what to do and not, get the company, business, or ministry in trouble. They're flexible and they generally are risk takers. Okay, and they focus on the top line in general. So that's all about, again, effectiveness, doing things right. Okay, so now that should actually be doing the right things. Okay, so I think that's a little typo there. They should be focused on doing the right things. Managers focus on doing things right. So management now, when you are a manager, you are generally looking at the objectives. Okay, you're not always focused on the long-term vision. Okay, because managers are generally shorter range. You're trying to accomplish things by the quarter, okay, by the month, by the week, and so forth. And so they have a shorter focus, but nonetheless, it is contributing to the big goals as well. But they have to be by default more shorter focus because that's where the objectives have. We have to reach milestones and so forth. And then they tell people how and when. Okay, so while the leaders focus on what needs to be done and why it needs to be done, they're not always the how-to men. The how-to men and women are those who are the managers who actually we say, okay, we need it to be done this way, and this is by what time it needs to be done by. Okay, they are more focused on the organization and structures. They're more autocratic. restraining, maintaining, imitating, controlling somewhat. Okay, so we have to be, we have to be balanced when it comes to that as well, because you don't want to necessarily be all controlling people, but we have to control time and resources in many different ways. And there are more the administrative types as well. So administration, again, most leaders are not necessarily, especially if it's a small enterprise, they don't really have much. They're trying to break down doors and blaze a trail, but someone has to do the management and the administrating of things. So again, they have to also establish good procedures. Policies are great, but we need procedures that will complement the policies. We need to have processes and systems in place, and good management will make sure that they do that. They're not so strong on the risk, though. They're more risk avoidance, because once they build up a structure in the organization, they tend to want to maintain. And so that's why you do have to have both. And it's good when a good leader or manager, function in both capacities. But if you're only good on management, then you definitely need a good leader, because sometimes you have to take risk. And without taking risk, like they said, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And we don't want that. And they focus on the bottom line, right? We focus on the bottom line. So the leader might say, hey, let's just get it done and let's spend among, and they're not looking at, the numbers. So managers have to look at the numbers, because the numbers tells the pictures. So here are 10 important areas to focus on as leaders and managers, and even followers. So if you're going to be leading anybody, leading yourself, leading your family, leading any entity, any organization, big or small, by the way, this is not, limited to only people who might be running large businesses or practices. No, this is for you if you are leading anyone, including your family, yourself, because again, our main folks that are on this kind of stuff, we deal with professionals, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, and so forth, success-minded individuals. So you, in some way, shape, or form, are probably a leader in your business place, in your ministry space. You're probably a manager for on your job or school or wherever you are. Whatever practice you have something to do here. But these are going to be the things that will set you apart, and especially as we go forward, again, in a diverse world, in a world of innovation, in a world of globalization, we must begin to think differently, because here's something important. The thinking and strategies that have got us to this point are not necessarily going to take us to the next point. You see, sometimes we want breakthroughs in our life, in our careers, and businesses, ministries, and relationships, but the what got you here is not always sufficient to get you to the next place. We have to up level our life. We have to up level our vision. We have to up level our training, our knowledge, our expertise, our experiences. We might need to get more, better people and better information, better knowledge, and be surrounded by people who are 10 steps ahead of us. So that way we can go forward, because if we knew how to get there, or if we were able to do it, probably would have done it already. Someone said rightfully that sometimes we say that some things are easy, and so, but what is easy is not always easily done, because if it's easy for us to lose weight, but everybody would be nice, rich, and skinny. Everybody would be successful if it were just simply easy. Everybody would have degrees if it were easy for everyone to do it. Everybody would be debt free if it were easy just for everyone to do it. So just because it might be simple, don't complicate or misinterpret simple for simplicity or being simplistic, right? I mean, don't complicate simplicity for being simplistic, okay? Simplicity is good. We need to be simple, because things need to be easy for people to achieve, but not simplistic in the sense of it's not just, hey, you throw anything together and whatever sticks works. That's not how it's going to be in this world. Okay, you have a lot of smart people. Knowledge is easily accessible to all of us. We have artificial intelligence that is changing things. The way people interact and the way people greet and the way people meet and the way people are driven is different from 5, 10, 20 years ago. Things have changed drastically, and we trying to use the same methods to reach and empower people in which we did in the past. No, yes, some of those things are still valid, but the majority have changed drastically, and we have not adjusted ourselves as leaders and managers to the new reality. So we need a bit of a big vision. Vision. Without it, the Bible says what? People perish for a lack of vision. You cannot hit a target that you cannot see, right? Makes sense? So, what is a vision? A vision is a brief, focused, clear, and inspiring statement of who and where we want to be in the future, right? What will we be known for? In other words, your vision is that thing that pulls you to the future. So the vision addresses that which is to come, right? It's a far-sighted hope or perception, divine eyesight, a future expectation, right? It's a bold dream, audacious faith. So one way to think of it, it's a revelation from God, his plan, goal, dream that is supernaturally presented to a group of people or one man's minds or woman's minds for what the future is for your life, your business, your ministry, your church, your charity, nonprofit, whatever it may be. So that's the kind of stuff that we have to think, even with our families. Many of us, I mean, we just did a weekend family retreat, and that's one of the things we focused on. Is we for the whole weekend we try to help families to create a legacy, a vision for what they want, not just living life. Like you have to have some type of future vision, future expectation, and so I think I hope that that really was a blessing for them because that's something that I really believe in, especially right now. So, where are we headed? This is what a vision must answer. Where are we headed? And what do we intend to be when we get there? This then will shape our objectives and all the other things that follows. Okay. So number one skill again is vision. What is your vision? What's the vision for your company? What's the vision for your people? What's the vision for your family? What's the vision for our church? What's the vision for our nonprofit? What is the vision? If the people don't know the vision, you can't blame them for not achieving it. You, the leader especially, is responsible for crafting a good vision or helping the people see the vision. Okay, because sometimes this is really the problems, and it's tough because people are sometimes, I guess, complacent in what they do, and so we just kind of get into our groove and routines, but we cannot stay there because again, for me, joining the military was a blessed experience, and I think the military messed me up for anything else that is besides some of these kind of principles. Once I came out of the military, again, one of the reasons why I could not work a regular job is because most jobs don't have any visions. People are just going there and they're just getting a paycheck, and that's really all it is to them. And so it's hard for me to work with that type of mindset because I'm used to, I have a good balance between management and leadership, although I believe that I thrive more on the management side. But I do have the ability to be able to think about the vision, and I'm inspired actually by the vision. If there's no vision, it's kind of hard to function because what are we doing? And why are we not, so there's no accountability, in other words, for a mission if there's no vision. So you have to be able to come up with for your people a vision. If there's none, craft one. For people of faith, we may need to go back to praying, go back to seeking God for a powerful vision. And so, part two next week, we get into more of that on godly, faith-based, bold leadership. Okay, that's what we want to talk about on next week. But let's continue. Next skill is mission. Next thing we need to be as a leader, we have to have a mission that will be compelling so that the people know what to do, why to do it, how to do it. So, but a mission, what is a mission? A mission statement is a statement of why we exist. What are we to do? It addresses our duty, our task, our charge, our calling, vocation, the work, the tangible thing, what we do, what we produce, what our services we provide, and why are we in ministry or why are we in business? Why are we here? Which builds upon from the vision. So that's it. It must be clear. Many people are not clear on why they're doing the task or what is it that we're doing. So, for example, if we say McDonald's, you know what McDonald's is all about or what kind of food we have. You don't expect to go to McDonald's and find pizza, right? So pizza is Pizza Hut. Well, I don't even know which one is, still. But anyways, the point is, when I go to a pizza joint like Domino's, Pizza Hut, or whomever, I expect them to have pizza. Now, if I go to Pizza Hut and I find burgers over there, then I have a problem because what's the purpose of Burger King? And so this is where, again, understanding clearly, Domino's, hey, we deliver in 30 minutes or we have the best pizza. Okay, so they know that their goal is to develop the best pizza the best tasting pizza, and have it delivered. If it's delivery is their thing, have it delivered to your house, your place, within 30 minutes or less, or something like that. So that gives the people purpose when they come to work. They know clearly what they need to do. But the problem we have is that many times in a business, a ministry, or practice, people are doing so many things. They're drawn all over the place. And so, therefore, nothing really gets done. So instead of laser focus on this is what we do. Like I'm sure you don't go to Apple, man. You can't go to Apple and find them working on nonsensical things or being pulled in 20 different ways. Apple is very focused on producing quality products. Their brand is highly recognized, not simply because people love Steve Jobs, but because of what the quality and excellence that their product evokes within the minds and hearts of people. So people who go to work there, they're proud to work there because they know that their product is highly desirable and has a wonderful place in the marketplace in the sense of it stands out. People line up for days to receive, the new iPhone or whatever it may be because of the clear mission and vision that was crafted for Apple Company. Now, strategy. Strategy. So we need to be more strategic right now. Okay, strategy is a statement that sets forth our direction so that we can realize the mission and the vision. It is spirit filled, it is action filled, it's based on plan, best practices, and also innovation. This is where technology comes in. This is where, especially in the nonprofit world, that many people are failing. You can see today that many businesses are closing down, especially in the retail space. Lots and lots of retail stores are closing left, right, and center. I mean, many of some of the good names that we used to be aware of, they are gone. They are being closed down. Even in the bookstores, we're looking at Borders is out of business. And even now a case could be made that even Barnes and Noble is struggling to stay afloat, but they're doing it for right now. But the reason is because they have not adapted themselves. Many of the Christian bookstores are gone, you know what I mean? And so Family Life Christian Bookstore, all of these things are gone. Many faith-based institutions, including our own, ABCs. What happened? They are closed because they were not strategic. They did not plan for innovation. They did not foresee because, again, of clear vision. When you look at your vision, you have to think of the future. What's the wave of the future? Technology is the way of the future, right? This is the new revolution that we are in. Okay, gone is the agricultural age, the industrial age, and we're looking at the digital age. But this technology, it cannot slow down if you really think about it. It cannot slow down because we have sped up so fast, and things can only get better because we have more knowledge, more expertise, and the more technology we have is the more things we can create and do. So therefore, technology cannot be done away with. It can only be accelerated. So therefore, companies, businesses, ministries got to be thinking along the lines of how do we utilize technology to our advantage and not let it, of course, derail us. But at the same time, what we're talking about is efficiency of, saving time, doing things differently, artificial intelligence and whatnot. Right now we have marketing crisis for companies. People are still using a lot of the old, outdated means and channels of communication. And today, those things don't work anymore. Everybody is on their mobile device. Everybody can get access to knowledge and information and communication very quickly. For someone to pretty much, let's say you want to write me a letter, well, it would not make sense in today's world to send me a letter when you can send me an email. Not only that, but you can probably send me a text and I get it faster. And then I'm almost, people on WhatsApp, people on Facebook Messenger. You can get a message to someone way, way quicker than utilizing some of these old, outdated ways. So that's what we're saying is that many of the bookstores and businesses and so forth, the retail establishment, they did not plan or foresee the future where people will be shopping online, where people don't need to. Not that they shouldn't. We can argue all we want that the people should be more social, people should be this. Listen, let's deal with the reality. People are less social. People rather go and buy their things online and get them shipped to their door. Like, if that's the new thing, if that's what they're doing, then make accommodations for that. Don't fight against it. You got to make accommodation for that. And isn't it interesting? That's the way the businesses are going. So The businesses who want to say, well, I'm just going to stay old school, well, you will stay old school and you'll be out of business. And now you put your family and other people in jeopardy because you did not plan. And so now they have to lose thousands and thousands of jobs. So many people are blaming technology for the loss of jobs. You shouldn't blame technology for the loss of jobs. We should blame the leaders and managers of companies that fail to plan and innovate so that way they can keep people employed because they would be ahead of the curve. Already? Now, objectives must be clear. Specifically, what must we change or improve to remain relevant or become efficient? Okay, what's our end target and goal? Again, this is what I love. For me, again, this is what's hard because sometimes, even in my line of work, most of the things are intrinsic and intangible. So I love to work on tangible things. You said, hey, we're going to get 10 books produced. Hey, I can number that, label that in the end of a month, a quarter, whatever. We can say, did we achieve the goal? But when you're dealing with the hearts and minds of people, that's more on an intrinsic level, and sometimes that cannot really be necessarily measured. So people of faith sometimes can be frustrated in that regards because we have faith-based leaders who are also, people of numbers, people who are, very well driven, and so, but they cannot necessarily quantify what they do or the accomplishments or the impact that they're making. So nonetheless, that's where again if you're a person of faith, we leave it up to the Lord, and and our reward is sure, is what He has told us. But at the same time, if you have a business, if you have a ministry, and even in your personal life and career, there must be some tangibles. Okay, we must be clear what are our objectives specifically now. Specifically, as a leader, we must say that by the end of this quarter, let's say you're a business, the business must be able to generate six figures, and you give it, of course, a specific numbers, not just six figures, but I mean, I don't know your business. So I'm saying that's what we must do. If you are in the faith-based space, we might say, or you have a nonprofit, we need to add so and so many new donors or supporters in this new quarter. We need to be able to impact the lives of 20,000 families this particular quarter or this year or whatever the case may be. Okay, people. Whoa, one of the most important thing. This is where I need a whole nother training on this one because this right here is the biggest game changer of all. Yes, even though technology is advancing, but the biggest issue is now because of globalization and because of even the innovation, we need to learn better skills on social interaction, people skills, and diversity training. Okay, understanding cultures. This right here, I especially in my line of work at this moment, one of the biggest struggles and hindrances to the effective movement and growth of places of worship is a lack of understanding cultures. Cultures are very, very difficult to deal with in the sense that if you are not multicultural, if you are not one who has experience in travels and so forth, or just being around different people, what's going to happen is you will not be able to lead them effectively. Okay, because you have to understand culture in order to deal with diversity. Of course, like we said, everything is diverse right now. And again, because we are dealing with globalization, we have to deal with multiple cultures and multiple people groups. So the better, more equipped we are in this arena of understanding people, who they are, how they think, what they value, and their nuances of the different cultures, right? So, for example, myself, okay, we've dealt with we've dealt with Asian cultures, we've dealt with Latino cultures, we've dealt with African cultures, Caribbean cultures, of course, Westerners in general, American, Canadian, all these different things. You have all different types of people that we deal with. But for me, even right now, I'm primarily in a Hispanic community, right? And then up north, we deal with. I have a lot of friends that they don't know how to deal with people from maybe the Philippines or from other Asian places, and it's like it's a struggle because for one, some cultures are not confrontational. They don't like confrontation. So other cultures, they are just easygoing, and in the sense of they expect you to just be there, or to know, in a sense. They're not as vocal as many Westerners are. Other cultures are very aggressive, but it's not rude. That's just who they are. Like when they talk, even like my dad is very animated, even more than I am, right? But he will be like this, And sometimes folks will think he's mad or something like that, or he's upset, but no, that's just who he is. That's how he expresses himself. And so, other people might feel uneasy, like, oh, this guy here, I don't want to get on his bad side. No, it's understanding people. So that's why too I try to take assignments that are difficult, and assignments where I will stretch outside of my comfort zone as well. And that's another reason I love to do international work and travel. Okay, so but we really have to spend a whole nother time on that, because I really think for you as a leader, as a manager, you have to grow, especially in this arena. So start attending classes, diversity training. But the best thing you can do is get around different people, get around different culture. Okay, so people, what are their gifts? So this is another thing. You got to put leadership and management based on giftings, not just simply, oh, I know about this. No, you want to put the best people in the best position, right? So people, we must bring out the best in them. Remember, this is the most important asset and resource, the human resource, human capital, okay, intellectual knowledge that comes with the people, because that's where the creativity come from. So we also need to value this, because sometimes people can put technology above people. Yeah, technology helps us to innovate, but there are people always behind the technology. Okay. Communication, okay, which goes in line again with people understanding, especially in a multicultural world. We need to be able to do that. Expectation must be clear, and channels for connecting known and used. So, in other words, you can't say this is the way we're going to communicate and then use a different form of communication. This is very difficult to, again, in our day and world, because if you have an organization, you have to know how to deal with millennials and Gen Xers and boomers. Okay, you have to know how to deal with all these different people, and all of them are probably using different communication channels. So we have to be effective. We cannot necessarily say it's one way of communicating, because some other groups might not be able to communicate in that fashion. So again, that's where this day and age we must begin to think outside the box. So for example, if you're a boomer, an elderly person or senior, and you are leading an organization, you have to understand the millennial mind, because we might want to write everything down on paper, and they hate paper. Like they can, like, hey, I can read it online, I can read it on my text, I can read it on something digital. And so you're frustrated, maybe looking, because they every time they're on their phone, and then you wonder maybe they're being disrespectful, right? So you have to be wise in all of these different things. Alrighty, inspiration. Inspiration. The man or woman who can inspire and motivate others in general will have the uphand in leading people and organizations, because people want to be inspired. We motivate and encourage each other to good works, utilizing our God-given gifts, talents, and abilities, and thus we can glorify His name. We must seek divine wisdom and knowledge, and not simply use our own because we desire, to use worldly strategies. But I'm saying is inspiration, motivation is crucial, because you got to keep people encouraged towards the goal and the dream, because the going does get tough, and like they said, the tough must get going. So we can't say when things are tough everyone is depressed, discouraged, defeated, and so forth. No, we have to keep the energy levels up. And so a leader especially must guard his or her mind and his or her energy levels, because you are the one that most people will hopefully and generally feed off of. Like they feed off your strength and your passion for the goal, the objective, or whatever it may be. But inspiring them and helping them to even believe in themselves, showing them that brighter future and keeping it before them can help with inspiration. Okay, you must also learn how to prioritize. Okay, as a leader, you must learn how to prioritize. We are accountable to God and to the body for vision and mission and service. We're accountable also to our stakeholders. To, if you're a business, you have investors, you have family also who are counting on you to succeed. You must be able to prioritize what you do as a leader. But when you prioritize, make sure you also prioritize yourself, because again, if you rust out, things rust out. Okay, so you have to also make sure that you communicate. Another thing is the values. Communicate the guiding principles or pillars on which the organization stand, or on which you want the people to stand. You must be able to model the attitudes and behaviors you want others on the team to emulate. Okay, and again, keep in your mind the cultural norms that we must set. within the organization, but they must also be inclusive of the many different groups or people groups that may be within your organization. So that's why leadership must reflect the community that they're leading. Okay, this is very important. Leadership and values must be reflective of the people that make up that team, that ministry, that practice, that job, whatever it may be. You cannot say that we are a diverse group when the only people reflective in the leadership is of one particular persuasion or the other. Okay, let's just say hypothetically, I see this. I talk a little bit in my own experience for right now. So I'm in the faith-based space. Okay, I'm a minister and I lead churches now. And so again, this is one of the biggest challenges that are facing, I think ministerial leaders at this moment. Now, many churches that are growing and the growing churches today are multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-site churches. That's just reality. So let's just say hypothetically, we have a congregation of even 10 or more different groups or countries represented in it. So many of our churches, we have like one of my churches called All Nations. I was part of a church called Light Bearers International, and those are the best church I function in. Actually, myself, I don't want to be in a church this day and age, my own self, with just one, kind of people makeup, because you don't grow that way. And not only that, but society is, diverse. So people, again, you go to a school, generally you'll find it diverse. You go to any place, you go to the supermarket, the store, you'll find multiple people groups there. So that's just the culture. That's just the way society is today. So any faith-based group must also be reflective of the community. So what I'm saying is that if I go to a place and most of the people there are, let's just say, Hispanic, and we don't have any Hispanic within the leadership, then that's a problem, right? That is a problem because the people will not be seeing themselves reflected in the leadership. Okay, and so we must have multiple. So I'm not saying that we just please people, but at the same time we have to be sensitive in that regard. So if we go in a primarily African American community, and there's no African American leaders in the community or within the businesses or ministries or whatever it may be that is part of that community, then it doesn't make sense. And not only that, but you probably will lose a lot of trust as well. So we have to be careful of that as we go forward as leaders and managers in this particular century. Now, last thing I want to talk about here is the need for building and leaving a legacy. Let me give you another handout. So if you have this one downloaded, keep it, but I want to give you another one. And let me go back here one quick moment. Share. And okay, this management infographic, I want you to download it. This is actually on our website because this is part of the blog post that we did. Okay, so download that. That will help you greatly in your management capacities. We probably touch base on some of it next week. But at the same time, I want you to have that because it's really a powerful infographic. And by the way, we thank the team of people who sent that out to us so that we can share it with our community. So before I talk about legacy, let me just highlight a few things on this. If by chance you want to visit that website, please do so. They were gracious to ask us to post it on our blogs. Again, that's one of the things we do, right? We support people from different communities who want to contribute to Strategic Secrets. You are always welcome to do that. But we had this company reach out to us and say, hey, we love what you're doing. We love your website. Can you post this on your blog for us? So that way they can also reach more people. And so we are fine with that. Well, whoever adds value to our people, we are more than good with that. It's called Zoe Talent Solutions, ZOE Talent Solutions.com. Check them out. And they have a lot of great resources in this aspect of leadership and management. So they talk a whole lot on management on this infographic. And so I want you to go ahead and use that, especially again, you're looking for administrative skills, project management skills, and different things along those lines, logistic management already, or there's the HR management, or there's the contract management. Oh man, leadership and management, many different things they talk about on here. Okay, so please download that, study it, and trust me, this makes being on this workshop very helpful. If you don't find it helpful now, trust me, it's going to come in handy. Okay, it is going to come in handy because it's just that good. All right, let's go back and talk about legacy. I want to end on that. We got about 15 minutes. And so, those of you who may need some coaching and training and so forth in the area of management or leadership, feel free to reach out to myself. You can go to you can go to strategicsecrets.com/services, strategicsecrets.com/services, or send us an email, chance@strategicsecrets.com. We'll be happy to coach you or provide training for your team. I also work with CM Institute of Leadership that is run by Michael Wilson, MBA. He's one of my teammates, and so he's very good in this regards as well. But we can get you the training and the coaching. He's also a certified John Maxwell speaker as well. So whatever we can do to make it easy for you, trust me, that's what we want to do. That's exactly what we want to do. That's why we are here. Okay, so click on book a call. Book a call with us if you need someone to speak for your event. We speak on many topics. Go and see what we have there. If you want to write a book, we can coach you, we can consult with you on all of these different things. Again, go to chance@strategicsecrets.com, send an email there, or strategicsecrets.com/services, and look at all of our services. Just book a free call. We'll be willing to jump on a call and discuss or strategize with you over a free call. Alrighty, let's talk about leadership here. We got 15 more minutes. If you have any questions, again, always feel free to post them. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, legacy. Okay, legacy is important, right? Now, there's a website called Legacy Project, and I found something interesting on it. It says research shows that without a sense of working to create a legacy, adults lose meaning in their life. Being reminded of death is actually a good thing because it informs life. It gives you a perspective on what is important. That's why exactly an organization, a people, a group, a ministry, business, whatever, that does not have this sense of vision of legacy, people are not driven. They come there just to get a paycheck. They come there, but they are dying inside. Okay, we need to be able to wake up towards something. That's why a lot of people are depressed. That's what middle age crisis is all about. We wake up one day working for a boss we don't like, for a job we don't like, for salaries we don't like, and we're just going through the motions, but we feel it's too late to change. I'm in debt, I'm all of this, and it's just hard to change. And so we are trying to recapture a vision for ourselves. But what you need to understand, though, I think this article that I found on Forbes, which is again one of the leading magazine, it was called "5 Ways a Legacy-Driven Mindset Will Define Your Leadership." Okay, the author says, it surprises me how many leaders don't even spend enough time thinking about their legacy, what they will leave behind for the organization and the people that they serve. Remember, we talk about servant leaders are not to be served. Servant leaders serve others. So as a leader, I must serve the people by equipping and empowering them. Now, it doesn't mean that the leader has to do all the work, but the leader is the one who actually empowers the people, equip them so that they can do the work. Okay? And so, but that's my legacy. So what are you passing on to them? And so I want you to think about, again, this past weekend when we did the family life retreat, our goal was we help family to actually think along this line. That was our whole thing. And we didn't just talk about leaving money. That was basic. Okay, so we weren't talking about will planning even at all. We were talking about living a life of purpose, and we helped them to come up. By the end of the retreat, we spent Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the end of the retreat, they all went home with a certificate and a vision statement of what their legacy in life will be. So We know that a legacy is a bequest, an inheritance, an endowment, or gift. We could say it's a heritage, right? But I want you to think about it this way. Can your legacy, your vision survive one or two or three generations? Another way to put it, if you're in leadership, is can your vision or the vision for your organization, ministry, or even church survive two people, two other or three other leaders coming behind you? The reason for this is because the good word says in the book of Proverbs, a good or righteous person leaves an inheritance for their children and their grandchildren. So we're talking about now, you're looking at your grand and your great grand. So we want to say at least three generations. So in other words, three leaders coming behind you. Is your vision so bold and so gutsy and so big that it will outlive you? So now we don't have to be working on competition and saying, or sometimes a lot of leaders get in this thing. They don't want others coming up behind them, and so they don't pass the baton or they don't plan for succession. Listen, for me, I believe, like, okay, for example, okay, I don't want to, I talk about my own experience so I can give you reality, okay? I don't just want to give you stuff, reading a book. That's not what this is practical, realistic stuff. We talk about practical, relevant things. So in my field of work, one of the things that I believe was a vision for us early. When we came here, for example, in my district as a minister, we had one church, of course, it was debt free. The other one was in debt, and we could not really and truly minister effectively. We could not do many programs because all the money was actually going into this mortgage, and this was killing us. And so I said, okay, what is so I look at all the activities we're doing, and so I'm like, okay, so we prayed and it's like, okay, what is the one thing that we can do that if we did it, that it will actually help this church for now and in the future? And we felt that the number one thing that we can do, of course, we can't stop everything else, but the number one thing we can do that will make a difference is actually making that church become debt free. And that's what we set a goal. And within what, 2 3 years, we were able to, about 3 years, we were able to get the mortgage paid off. Now, that frees up a whole lot of resources. That also frees up the people from less stress. Not only that, but if they're going through financial hardship, now the church is not, beholden to, this big old behemoth mortgage that, it has to depend on the people for it. No. So now the people, if they have to give less, it's okay. Not only that, but we also empower the people that if they need to give to other ministries, they can do so. We're not saying they decrease their giving, but what we're saying, we also empower you to now give to other places that you believe that is making an impact. Because we are not selfish. We believe in that if the Lord is leading in any other ministry, that it's okay to support them as well. Okay, so these are some of the ideas. So I believe now, for example, if let's say hypothetically, now succession planning. So the other leader will not be coming, in my stead and say now the same problem that I had, he or she is having. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be good. They'd have to now come and say, hey, wow, we praise God for this guy's leadership because they were able now to put us on a firm sitting. We have resources to be able to now make a difference. And in other words, they can now even do a bigger impact than we did. Why? Because the resources are available to do it. You see what I mean? So that's kind of the ideas in which we're saying. So it's not always easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not always easy. But right now, if you are a pastor, if you are a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an administrator, okay, an educator, whatever you are, try to get your people to have a legacy, a bold vision of what needs to happen in the next 5 10 years. What do we want to be known for, right? And so what do we want to accomplish, so that way other generations coming after us. Okay, here's another one. A community leader right here, okay, Dr. Donna Cooper is helping with a massive project to build a hospital in Ghana, West Africa. Alrighty, now that right there is what we call legacy building. Why? Because that will outlive her. Okay, not only that, but that will create jobs for people in the future. Not only that, but it will bring so much knowledge, education, because it's a teaching hospital. So people will be educated there. It will attract other businesses there. Hotels are going to be going up around that place. So many people will go into different fields because the hotel just doesn't need even people in the allied health field alone. They're going to need administrators, they're going to need business people and business managers and all of these other things. So that is legacy, because we are saying now that is such a big goal and a big vision that it outlives. Not only that, but think about the life expectancy rate is now going to be extended for people in that region, because now people are dying from basic things. So you are able to help people with health, cure people, all of these different things. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. That is attractive. That's the kind of stuff I like to get behind. But when we just going by as a church or as a nonprofit or as a business, you just going by, there's nothing, we just kind of making money, or, if it's a business, that's all you do. But the people there will not feel a sense of purpose and destiny. Okay. And I think that's why a lot of people in the churches too are even dying spiritually, because they don't have a vision, or they're not constantly reminded of the vision. So I love when we go to places, you see the vision pasted up all over the place. A doctor friend of mine invited me out to lunch, was it last week or week before? And when I went back to his office, it was great walking through his practice. Man, everything was coordinated. There was mission, vision, bold statement, quotations, inspirational messages, and then even showed where, I guess, maybe, I don't know if it's the receptionist, but there were some ladies there, and then he had something printed in the middle there, and he reminded them, if you guys can quote all of these, I will give you, I think he said, about $100 or something like that. So even stuff like that, that's what we're saying, is that you put the mission in the eyes and the hearts of the people, and they're able to see stuff. So next week, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about, again, godly leadership. Okay, because again, don't be turned off if you're not a person of faith. All of this helps you. Trust me, God is the best leader and best visionary there is. We're going to talk about next week biblical or godly visionaries and leadership, because I want to show you how God's way of inspiring and leading should inspire us and help us to lead just like that. I want to teach you and show you some principles of godly leadership, how God Himself, how God Himself led, how leaders from the olden days led, and even in the New Testament days led, and how we today now, the new leaders who are getting all that legacy, and notice their legacy lives on today, isn't it so? So can your legacy and my legacy live on? It might not even live on forever, but at least we should. My minimum goal is this: I want it to live into at least 3 generations minimum. Okay, so that's how we have to begin living our life. My friend, listen, it's that time for us to taper off now. I want to thank you. We had 57 minutes. We normally do this for an hour. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. Again, by default, we are on here every single Thursday. Okay, set your own calendar, log in. It's always generally the same login link, and we are on Facebook, YouTube Live. Okay, of course, we have a private link because we deal with people of our community. But if you get the link and just save it, you can log on every single Thursday. So I want to thank you, because without you, there would be no us. But we have resources and tools that can bless you, can take your life, career, business, ministry to the next level. So go ahead, get one of our books, get one of our courses at strategicsecrets.com. Or if you would like personalized coaching, consulting, or training for your people, reach out to us. We'll be able to get you the help, even from some of our people, as we say, within this community, like Mike Wilson, Dr. Cooper, Michael Appiah, and others. They will be able to help you to bring your vision to reality. God bless you all. I will see you on next week. Take care. Good night.